My name is Siva and will be your host for this wonderful occasion.
SADBHAVANA is the glorious moment that we are gathered here to celebrate. Do you know what is SADBHAVANA?
Not exactly.
SADBHAVANA means goodwill and harmony. We would like to spread among our fellow students. Sad means good and Bhavana means feel.
Okay, enough. Got it clearly.
Today is all about you, the newest and most special members of our Sivani family. Freshers' Day is a beginning of your journey here, filled with new opportunities, new friendships, and countless memories waiting to be made. Each one of you brings fresh energy, talent, and dreams that will make our campus even more vibrant.
This day is dedicated to celebrating you, welcoming you with open hearts, and making sure you feel at home. From today onwards, you're not just students, you are part of our family.
Holistic development ensures that every student grows, not only academically, but also as a responsible individual. We are delighted to welcome our Associate Vice President of Sivani Group of Institutions, Srimati Sampathy ma'am, onto the dais. I request Sri from 2BA to accompany ma'am.
Contribution, I humbly request our respected Vice President and Deputy Chief Executive, Dr. Sampathy sir, to kindly garland the
Sampathy, Srimati Principal, Sivani Degree College, Sri Anand Reddy, Vice Principal, Sivani Degree College, colleagues, and my young friends. At the outset, a very warm welcome to the freshers formally into the Sivani family. A day meant to celebrate the settling down of the juniors each year. A day to celebrate the addition of new members into this colossus called Sivani. That would probably be ideal, but then looking at the practicality, your examinations not more than probably about a month and a half away. I think it is my duty to caution the new entrants into the family. The first hurdle that will appear, or which you've got to overcome for appearing at the examinations, is your attendance. Now, why I'm talking about attendance? on this bright morning is there seem to be some students, irrespective of which year they are in, who do not seem to understand what attendance means, because of which certain steps are being taken by the students and the parents which are totally futile. Now, without naming the student or the course from which the student belongs to, we had a communication from a member of the Telangana Education Commission. Now, the Telangana Education Commission is a body that has been set up in 2024 to look into the proper education development in the state of Telangana, to ensure that proper facilities are available, to ensure that proper faculty is available, right from schooling to PG and PhD level. So this member of the commission has written to us saying that we should permit a student whose attendance is less than 65% at the examinations. So what I want each of you to understand is the regulation of attendance of 70% or more with a continuation of 10% is a regulation made by the Osmania University, or I would say this is a regulation that is in place in all universities across the country. No individual college, neither its chairperson, nor the principal, nor the correspondent, nor the secretary, nor any other official can either alter these rules or change these rules to suit the students of their own institution. It is not in our purview. So what I want to appeal from this particular forum is, please do not put pressure on your parents to meet politicians, to meet bureaucrats, or to meet any other person whom you feel would be able to bring a pressure onto an institution, not just our institution, but this is applicable to every institution in the country, to bring pressure upon the administration to ensure that whatever regulations that you are not fulfilling be changed so that you or a few people like you would be permitted to do something like appearing at the examination or taking an internal test despite lack of these regulations being fulfilled. So this is something which is not in the hands of the institution, and I would dare say it is not in the hands of any official of the university, concerned university, because these regulations are made by the academic senate of the university, where members from across the world are a part of it. So it is not possible to call that particular board every now and then and to have these rules changed. Having said this, let me probably come to something a little more fun-filled, a little more tension-free, which probably will take your thoughts away from examinations and regulations and attendance. There are two anecdotes that I would want to narrate to you today. And anecdotes, I'm sure all of you know, are incidents that have actually happened. Made him challenge that he would be able to defeat one of the greatest warriors of his time. So once the king said that he will give him 1 hour, and he asked his warrior what he thought of his opponent, he said, Your Majesty, let the duel be over and then we will talk about what my opponent is. So both the teacher, the great warrior and the young challenger came into the courtyard and both had swords in their hand. Because the experienced teacher said, since his son is going to fight with the sword, I am not going with any other weapon, I will also fight with a sword. They came into the courtyard facing each other, looking at each other, waiting for the other person or the opponent to make the first move. 10 minutes, 15 minutes had gone by, and there's absolutely no movement from either of them. They were just staring at each other. And that is when the young warrior thought that he would best the experienced teacher. And he started hurling abuses at him, saying that, oh, you're an old fellow, you're a useless fellow, and from there it started getting on more and more serious insults and abuses. While the teacher stood very calm with a smile on his face. This went on for the next 45 minutes without a stop. The younger one abusing the older warrior. After 45 minutes, when the 1 hour was up and the bell was rung, without a word, the young warrior literally threw his sword on the ground and ran away from there. And the senior warrior was declared the winner. But then the emperor and the disciples of this experienced teacher and the people who were present there started questioning the teacher. I said, you probably could have killed him with one strike of your sword. Why did you keep listening to his abuses and insults for 45 minutes? If you nod your head even now, you are going to capture that person and kill him. And the teacher replied with a question, in fact to the emperor. He said, Your Majesty, if somebody comes to you with a gift to present it to you, and you refuse to accept, what will happen? So the emperor said, the gift will remain with the person who has got it. He said, it's the same thing that I have done. My opponent had come, and once he knew that I was not going to make the first move, he started hurling abuses at me, hoping that he would get me angry and ensure that I would make the first move, because of which he would know my strengths and weaknesses, and then it would have been easy for him to defeat me. Now this is true in everything that we do in life. If you are to react to somebody scolding you, if you are to react to somebody hurling abuses at you, then you would become a no better person than the person who is angry or the person who is abusing you. But if you are with a mindset that whatever somebody is hurling at me is something which I don't want, is something which I will not react to, then the person who is angry or hurling abuses at you eventually has to calm down and move out from there. So our state of mind at every second that we are awake will ensure whether our energy is used in a positive or a negative manner. And this is applicable to every human being. The second incident that I wanted to talk to you was something dating back to a period immediately after the Somnath temple in Gujarat was desecrated by the Ghaznavis. Now, after the desecration of the temple and looting of the kingdom, the invaders went back, and then the king found that there was drought in his kingdom, where there was literally no rainfall, to ensure that the farmers engaged in agriculture and produced food. When there was no rain, when there was absolutely no water flowing, the fields were dry. People were unable to pay taxes, and the king had to run the kingdom with the amount that was in his treasury. So drought for 1 year, the king was able to manage. Drought for the second year, the king was able to manage. There's a drought for a third continuous year, and the balance in the treasury was so depleted that it was not possible to manage for another year. Fortunately, the fourth year, there were plenty of rains. Then there was a lot of work for the farmers, a lot of produce. But then after these 3 years, the king started worrying. What if there is a famine next year? What if there is a famine 2 years or 3 years later? What if it is for a period longer than 3 years? How would the kingdom run? How would the people live? And this gave him sleepless nights. The intake of food had become minimal, which turned the king physically weak. And day in and day out, the king was very worried and so tired that he would sleep off wherever he was sitting for a few minutes because he was not able to sleep well in the night. The king was very worried, and then he went to his guru and said, Guru, this is the state of my mind. I'm not able to sleep, I'm not able to eat, and there's nothing but worry in my mind. I've become physically weak. I don't know what to do. I don't know what is the cause of this. So please help me out with this. The advice of the Guru was, hand over the kingdom to your son. The king was taken aback. He said, my son is only 5 years old. Then the Guru said, hand over the kingdom to me. If you were not able to hand it over to your son, you hand it over to me. And the kingdom was handed over to the Guru. A few minutes later, the Guru said, since I am not an administrator like you, though I now own the kingdom, you run the kingdom for me. And report to me what you are doing at the end of every week. So it started, the king was again doing his old job. But now, as a servant of somebody else, over a period of weeks, the king felt that he was able to sleep properly, he was able to eat properly, and within a couple of months, he was able to get back his physical strength. And then the Guru came into the court and asked the king, how are you feeling now? The king said, I've become hale and healthy now. I'm having a very peaceful sleep at night. What you have been doing earlier before you gave the kingdom to me, and what you are doing now after you gave the kingdom to me is no different. There's absolutely nothing different there. All the duties that you were performing earlier as a king, you're still performing as a king. Earlier responsibilities that you had as a king, you still have those responsibilities. You see that your health has improved, you're going back to sleep peacefully, you've got back your physical health. And the king said, Guruji, I'm not able to understand why. And that is when the master said, if you look at your job as a duty, you will prosper. If you look at your job as a burden, you will never prosper. You will ruin your job and ruin the lives of the people around you. The difference between a duty and a burden is the thin line between positive and negative. When you feel, your job is something that you do not like, it's a burden, somehow or the other, you'll have to attend to those duties and finish them off. That is a situation where you feel it's a burden. If that is your mindset, you will never be able to perform to your potential. You will probably get your 70s, 80s or 90s, but then believe me, your potential is greater than whatever marks you secure. On the contrary, if you feel that so this is an examination which is unavoidable, let me start preparing for it in advance with ample time in hand. And believe me, your performance will be much more better than what you expect. And like I said, this is applicable to everything, every job, every task, everything that we do in our life. So wishing the seniors, wishing the juniors a very warm welcome once again, and wishing each one of you all the very best. Thank you.